What's up, Fantasy Alarm Nation? Justin Fensterman here, and welcome to Fantasy Football ADP TV for the 2023 NFL season. Getting you ready for your fantasy football drafts. Each week, I'll spotlight some of the players and where they're going on Underdog. And as the draft season continues through July and August, leading right up to the start of the season in September, I will go over some of the risers and fallers as we get more news, as we get more practice reports, and let's put ourselves in the position to win our fantasy football leagues in 2023. Let's get to some players on the rise when it comes to interest level for today, and some players who are falling based on where they're going in drafts as of late. Let's hit the board. First, for players that I'm high on, considering where they're going in fantasy football drafts, Joe Burrow, ADP at 44 on Underdog lately. Last season, Burrow completed over 68% of his passes, ranking him in the top 3 in completion percentage among the position. He also was tied for second among quarterbacks in touchdown passes and even ran in 5 scores. Cincinnati has also made improvements to their offensive line by signing Orlando Brown, and Burrow should have more protection. We're seeing quarterbacks go earlier in drafts this year, and Burrow maintains solid value as a late 4th round pick, and let's not forget the strong weapons he has to throw to in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Up next in ADP that I'm interested in, Miles Sanders, new running back for the Carolina Panthers at 66. There's a lot to take into account with Sanders, with many questioning whether he'll truly be a 3-down back or if Chuba Hubbard or Raheem Blackshear will eat into his carries a bit. Currently being drafted in the 6th round of 12-team leagues, the intrigue surrounding him being reunited with Deuce Staley, along with the steady improvement of the Panthers' offensive line between 2021 and 2022, makes him worth the risk in my opinion. He was targeted over 50 times in his first 2 seasons in Philly, and that's when Staley was there. And Staley knows what he's capable of and could be in the ear of Coach Frank Reich. And hopefully for Coach Frank Reich, he can utilize Sanders just like he utilized Jonathan Taylor in the passing attack over the years. And we should see him have that decent role in Carolina's passing attack. The receiving core in Carolina is very questionable, and rookie Bryce Young could lean heavily on Sanders a bit more in the short passing game. Sanders has also averaged 5 yards per carry for his career and put up over 1,200 yards on the ground last season behind the strongest offensive line in the league in Philadelphia. Now the offensive line won't be as strong, but he could still absolutely do some damage, and the value is solid. Now for a couple of players whose average draft positions I'm really not in favor of. Let's start with Deebo Samuel from the 49ers. It's difficult to figure out what kind of ceiling Samuel has with the 49ers loaded with weapons. We don't know at this point if Brock Purdy will be ready to start the season active, and Samuel could end up catching passes from Sam Darnold or Trey Lance for a bit. Samuel will be in constant competition for targets against Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk, to name a few. In 2021, Samuel rushed in 8 scores, and we know he could be productive on the ground, but it will be hard for him to get consistent carries with McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell healthy. There are a ton of options on this team, and it will be a constant battle royale when it comes to getting featured in San Francisco's passing attack, and Samuel's going a bit too high right now on draft boards at 33, and it's hard to believe that he'll provide a top 18 return at wide receiver. Another wide receiver whose ADP I question right now, the rookie Jaxon Smith-Njigba from the Seattle Seahawks. He's got great hands, and he was a dynamic slot receiver at Ohio State, but will the opportunities be there for him in year 1 with Seattle? It's hard to believe that he'll be prioritized as much playing alongside DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Lockett barely misses any action, and he and Smith-Njigba are being drafted right around each other. Let's also not forget that Smith-Njigba played in just 3 games last season as he was nursing a hamstring injury for most of the year. The Seahawks also drafted Zach Charbonnet, who should be active in their passing attack as well. With both Metcalf and Lockett receiving over 110 targets each last year, is there enough room for Smith-Njigba to have a high ceiling in year 1? Can things change and they can be more impactful running 3 wide receiver sets? Sure, but end of 5th, early 6th round for Smith-Njigba is a bit high for my liking. And that's the first episode of Fantasy Football ADP TV, FA Nation. Keep it locked into fantasyalarm.com, get our draft guide, and get ready to crush your leagues here in 2023.